A'ja Wilson just got hit with the news that's going to haunt her for years. Caitlin Clark received an invitation to Team USA's December training camp, the one that determines who makes the World Cup and Olympic rosters. And Wilson? She's sitting at home watching it all happen. After months of throwing shade at Clark, karma just delivered the ultimate reality check. Before we get into this absolute disaster for Wilson, drop your honest opinion in the comments. Is A'ja Wilson jealous of Caitlin Clark, or is she just competitive? Because what I'm about to show you might change your mind completely. So here's what just went down. And honestly, the irony is almost too perfect. Team USA, led by Managing Director Sue Bird, just announced their December training camp roster for Duke University. This isn't just some casual get-together where players show up and shoot around for a few days. This camp determines everything. Who makes the 2026 World Cup team? Who gets selected for the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles? This is where legends are made and careers are defined. And guess who got the golden invitation? Caitlin Clark. Guess who didn't? A'ja Wilson. Let that sink in for a second. The same A'ja Wilson who spent the better part of the last year taking shots at Clark, launching petty social media campaigns, and trying desperately to convince everyone that she's just as marketable and just as valuable as Clark, just got left off the most important roster in women's basketball. Meanwhile, Clark is preparing to cement her status as the face of Team USA for the next decade. You honestly cannot write better karma than this. Affirmation of the delusion and the insanity of black women. But Nike has this gift in Caitlin Clark. Women's basketball, this gift in Caitlin Clark. The roster for this camp reads like a who's who of the future of women's basketball. Caitlin Clark, obviously. Paige Buchers, making her senior national team debut. Juju Watkins, another rising superstar. Angel Reese, because apparently they want to keep that Clark-Reese rivalry going on the international stage. Cameron Brink and Aaliyah Boston, both incredible talents. Kelsey Plum and Jackie Young bringing veteran leadership. This is Team USA's blueprint for the next era of dominance in women's basketball. And A'ja Wilson is nowhere to be found on it. Now, before Wilson's fans come rushing to her defense, let's be clear about what this means. This isn't about Wilson's talent as a basketball player. Nobody's denying that she's been an elite player in the WNBA. She's won MVPs. She's won championships. She's been dominant in the league for years. But here's the thing. Being good at basketball isn't enough anymore for Team USA. They need players who can represent American basketball on the world stage. Players who can attract global audiences. Players who can elevate the entire program. And right now, Caitlin Clark does all of those things better than anyone else in women's basketball, including Wilson. Sue Bird didn't make this decision lightly. She's one of the greatest players in basketball history, and arguably the smartest basketball mind in the women's game. She knows what it takes to win on the international stage. She knows what kind of players succeed in FIBA competition. And she knows what Team USA needs to maintain its dominance while also growing the global appeal of women's basketball. When Bird looks at Caitlin Clark, she sees all of that. When she looks at the current situation with Wilson, she apparently sees something that doesn't fit what they're building. And let's talk about what they're building, because it's important context for understanding why Clark got the invite and Wilson didn't. Team USA isn't just trying to win games anymore. They're trying to grow the sport globally. They're trying to attract new fans. They're trying to maximize their commercial appeal and leverage their platform to elevate women's basketball worldwide. Clark brings all of that naturally. Her games break viewership records. Her jersey sales crush everyone else's numbers. Her social media engagement dwarfs every other player in the league. Companies are lining up to partner with her. Kids want to play basketball because of her. That's the kind of impact Team USA wants at the center of their program. Well, let's rewind and talk about how we got here, because A'ja Wilson's reaction to Clark's rise has been one long, embarrassing display of jealousy and insecurity. It started with the Nike deal. When Clark signed her massive endorsement contract with Nike, one of the biggest deals in women's sports history, Wilson couldn't just let Clark have her moment. Oh no. Wilson had to launch her I Have a Shoe Too campaign, posting pictures of her own Nike sneakers on social media, like a child demanding attention at someone else's birthday party. The desperation was palpable. Instead of celebrating a massive win for women's basketball and recognizing that Clark's deal helps all female athletes, Wilson made it about herself and looked petty doing it. Then came the cryptic social media posts. "What is delayed is not denied," became Wilson's mantra, posted repeatedly as Clark's star continued to rise. The implication was clear. Wilson believed she deserved the same level of recognition and commercial success as Clark, and she was just waiting for her moment. Except that moment never came. Because while Wilson was posting inspirational quotes about patience, Clark was out there actually earning her success through performance, personality, and unprecedented impact on the sport. The Time Athlete of the Year award really broke Wilson. When Caitlin Clark became the first women's basketball player ever to win this prestigious honor, Wilson's social media activity went into overdrive. She started liking posts that questioned whether Clark deserved the award. She shared content suggesting other athletes were more worthy. The salt was flowing at levels that would make the Dead Sea jealous. Instead of recognizing this as a huge moment for women's basketball, with one of their own getting mainstream recognition, Wilson chose to be bitter about someone else's achievement. Then Wilson tried to claim that she makes the same speaking fees as Clark. Let's just pause and appreciate how delusional that statement is. And Wilson wants everyone to believe she's in the same financial stratosphere? The claim was so ridiculous that it actually made people feel sorry for Wilson, because it revealed just how insecure she is about Clark's commercial dominance. Every single milestone Clark achieved triggered another Wilson meltdown. Clark breaks rookie records. Wilson posts about veteran experience and paying dues. Clark leads her team to the playoffs. Wilson talks about championship pedigree. Clark gets featured in mainstream media. Wilson complains about media bias. The pattern was exhausting and transparent. Wilson couldn't let Clark enjoy a single moment without trying to either diminish it or redirect attention to herself. And now, here we are, the ultimate validation of everything Clark has accomplished and the ultimate rejection of Wilson's approach. Team USA looked at these two players, evaluated their skills, their leadership, their marketability, and their fit with the program's future, and they chose Clark. They didn't just choose Clark, they left Wilson at home. That's not a neutral decision. That's an active statement about where Team USA sees the future of women's basketball. The coaching staff for this camp includes WNBA coaches Kara Lawson, Natalie Nakase, Nate Tibbetts, and Stephanie White. These aren't people who make emotional decisions. They're professional basketball minds who evaluate talent objectively. They've watched both Clark and Wilson play at the highest level. They've seen how Clark elevates her teammates, how she performs under pressure, how she handles media responsibilities, how she represents the sport. And they've apparently seen whatever Wilson has been doing and decided it's not what they need right now. Clark's teammate Aaliyah Boston will be at this camp too, which creates an interesting dynamic. Clark and Boston developed incredible chemistry during their time together with the Indiana Fever. Boston's defensive presence and interior scoring complement Clark's perimeter brilliance perfectly. Team USA coaches are going to watch that partnership closely because if it translates to international competition the way it worked in the WNBA, those two could be the foundation of Team USA's lineup for years to come. Meanwhile, Wilson is at home watching her former teammate prepare to build international chemistry with someone else. The young talent at this camp is extraordinary. Paige Bueckers is one of the most skilled players to come out of college basketball in years. Juju Watkins is already being compared to the sport's all-time greats. These players represent the next generation of American basketball excellence. And they're all coming into this camp as Caitlin Clark's peers and potential teammates, not A'ja Wilson's. That shift in generational focus has to sting for Wilson, who probably saw herself as the veteran leader who would guide these young players. Instead, Clark gets that role. What's really interesting is how different Clark and Wilson are in terms of their approach to success and recognition. Clark constantly deflects praise to her teammates. She talks about team accomplishments rather than individual awards. Her social media content focuses on celebrating others and promoting the sport. When she wins, she's gracious. When she loses, she takes responsibility. That authenticity resonates with fans and clearly resonates with Team USA decision-makers. Wilson, on the other hand, has made everything about herself. Her posts center on her achievements, her recognition, her status. When things don't go her way, there's always an excuse or someone else to blame. That approach might work when you're dominating, but it becomes a problem when someone else starts getting more attention. The commercial aspect of this cannot be ignored either. Team USA exists in a business environment just like any other sports organization. They need sponsorships, they need broadcast deals, they need ticket sales. Clark brings all of that in ways Wilson simply doesn't. Clark's Nike deal created genuine mainstream buzz. Her appearances spike television ratings. Her games sell out arenas. Her social media posts generate engagement that most professional sports teams would kill for. When international broadcasters are negotiating rights fees for Team USA games, they're going to pay more if Caitlin Clark is on the roster. That's just economic reality. Forbes recognized Clark's business impact by including her on their 30 under 30 list. That recognition came because Clark transcends basketball. She's a cultural phenomenon who drives consumer behavior across multiple industries. Wilson has never achieved that level of crossover appeal. She's a basketball player who's good at basketball. Clark is a cultural force who happens to play basketball. There's a massive difference between those two things, and Team USA clearly understands which one serves their interests better. Clark's crossover into golf has been genuinely remarkable. The LPGA Tour embraced her. Professional golfers want to play with her. Golf brands want to sponsor her. She's bringing basketball fans to golf tournaments and golf fans to basketball games. That's the kind of multi-sport influence that expands everyone's audience. Wilson has never generated interest in any sport outside of basketball. She's one-dimensional in her appeal, and that limits her value to organizations trying to grow their reach. The viewing numbers don't lie. Clark's games consistently drew higher ratings than any other WNBA player. Streaming services saw subscription spikes when her team played. Road arenas that normally sat half-empty sold out when Clark came to town. Local businesses near visiting arenas reported increased revenue on Clark game days. She created economic activity wherever she went. Wilson's games draw solid numbers, but they've never created the same kind of economic impact or cultural moment that Clark's appearances generate. Now Wilson has to sit at home and watch Clark prepare for the opportunities that define international basketball careers. The 2026 World Cup gives Clark a chance to showcase her skills against the best players from every continent. The 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles will be played in front of home crowds who will absolutely lose their minds watching Clark lead Team USA. These are the moments that turn good players into legends. These are the stages that athletes dream about their entire careers. And Clark gets to experience them while Wilson watches on television. The roster construction for this camp suggests Team USA is building around Clark for the long term. They're surrounding her with young talent who can grow with her over the next Olympic cycle. They're creating chemistry now that will pay dividends for years to come. This isn't about one tournament or one competition. This is about establishing the foundation for Team USA's next dynasty. And Caitlin Clark is the cornerstone of that foundation, not A'ja Wilson. Wilson's months of jealous behavior and petty campaigns have completely backfired. Every attempt she made to diminish Clark's accomplishments only highlighted her own insecurity. Every cryptic social media post only made her look desperate for attention. Every claim about her own success only emphasized how much further ahead Clark is in terms of impact and influence. Wilson tried to tear Clark down and ended up exposing her own weaknesses instead. The coaching staff at this camp will evaluate every aspect of these players' games. Their skills, their leadership, their coachability, their chemistry with teammates, their ability to handle pressure. Clark will excel in all of those areas because she's been doing it at the highest level since her college days. She knows how to perform when everyone's watching. She knows how to make her teammates better. She knows how to represent the sport with class and professionalism. Those qualities matter just as much as points per game or rebounds when Team USA makes their final roster decisions. So there it is. A'ja Wilson spent months trying to convince everyone she's on Caitlin Clark's level, and Team USA just answered that question definitively. What do you think? Is this decision fair, or did Wilson get snubbed?